Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bloomerang Academy. We're so glad that you're here with us today. If you would, as you're coming in, just go ahead and pop into the chat and let us know what the weather is like and where you're located, where you're joining us from today. Today it is actually quite cool in Indy. It's 63 degrees and sunny. So we are officially entering into fall, and it feels like it today. I see 55 and sunny in Wisconsin. Yeah. Sunny but chilly winds. Yeah. Oh my. South Carolina, 95 degrees. You guys got the heat that we had a couple days ago because it was just incredible the last couple days. We're getting all kinds of weather today. Very interesting. All right. Well, thank you so much. We want to go ahead and get started, but thanks for telling us the weather where you are. I'm seeing so much. It is wild how different it can be across the area. So welcome to Bloomerang Academy. We want to go through a few housekeeping items before we start. So the first thing is we have our online audio or dial-in. So if you happen to have your audio drop out, or perhaps you need to have dial-up audio, the number is 1-669-900 6833. So if you want to jot that number down in case you do lose the audio at some point, that way you can keep hearing all the valuable information that you're going to get from this session today. I do want to go over just a few details about the toolbar that you see at the bottom of your screen. So we have two different areas where you can contribute and be a part of the webinar today. So we have our Q&A, and we have the chat, which you just utilized so well. The chat actually is a great resource if you want to be able to share information between each other amongst yourselves. Maybe you've had something where you've done something similar to what our presenter is talking about today, and you want to share that best practice. Please feel free to pop those into the chat. We love to see those things. But if you have a specific question, something that you really need answered, we would love for you to pop that into the Q&A section, because that way we don't lose it in the chat. The chat can sometimes get very active, and then we don't see a question, and we don't want that to happen. We want to answer all your questions today. So today we are going to have a wonderful session. As you know, fall is here, although I see that not in Miami, apparently it's 85 degrees. So I do think, though, that when we start thinking about fall, one of the things as nonprofit leaders that we start thinking about is Giving Tuesday. And so our session today is all about Giving Tuesday strategies. How can you utilize your Bloomerang database to its full potential around Giving Tuesday? And we have an amazing presenter today, Micah James. She is a manager and coach. She is part of the coaching team here at Bloomerang and Kindful. She has experience in nonprofit development, and she is a certified fundraising executive. She serves on the board in her area, and she's very much interested in economic and financial education. So Micah, I'm going to turn it over to you. We are so happy that you're here today, and we are excited to hear more about Giving Tuesday strategies.
Thanks so much, Margie. I am so glad to be here. Let me grab that screen share from you. Can you see that all right?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Hi, everybody. I am Micah James, as Margie shared. I am so glad to be with you today. I have a wealth of information to share with you, and I'm excited to learn from you as well as we come to Giving Tuesday and we prepare together. So let's get started. Today, we're going to cover a series of information. We're going to talk about Giving Tuesday as a greater movement of generosity and how Giving Tuesday came to be. We're going to talk about some best practices for Giving Tuesday and how we can prepare for Giving Tuesday itself. We're going to talk about maximizing our online giving forms for Giving Tuesday. We're going to talk about engaging in customization when it comes to those online giving forms. And then we're going to have some time for question and answer. So let's get started. So Giving Tuesday is a part of a greater movement of generosity. If you were to visit the Giving Tuesday website today, you would see it proudly proclaim that it is a movement that unleashes the power of radical generosity around the world. So many of you gathered here today are leaders and volunteers and contributors to nonprofit organizations. And I know that you desire to harness that power of radical generosity for your cause. So before we dive into how we can maximize that impact, I just want to take just a second to talk a little bit about how Giving Tuesday came to be and how it became such a significant marker on our fundraising calendar. So Giving Tuesday started in 2012. It has become a vital part of our year-end fundraising cycle, but it's still a fairly new idea, just about 10 years old. It started as a movement to raise awareness of generosity in 2012, kind of gaining that excitement around generosity and philanthropy as we head into that year-end giving season. As we look at the statistics in 2021, just over $2.7 billion were raised for nonprofit organizations. And that's a combination of both on and offline giving on Giving Tuesday. In that same year, over 35 million people participated in Giving Tuesday just in the United States. So it's becoming quite a large day of participation, both in just engagement of people and giving dollars. Many of us are familiar with Facebook and their match on Giving Tuesday. That's been happening for several years now. And in 2021, Facebook matched $8 million of Giving Tuesday giving. There's a new part of Giving Tuesday called Giving Tuesday Spark, which is a youth movement to encourage volunteerism, kindness, and giving back. So it's a fairly new piece of this whole Giving Tuesday movement. And in this year, just like I mentioned, it will celebrate 10 years. So as we talk about Giving Tuesday and how your organization can be a part of this movement, you saw the numbers were quite large, millions of people, billions of dollars. So one of the goals is to be a part of the movement, but not to get lost in the noise. So your organization is one of many. So how can we be a part of this movement and stay true to your mission and your purpose? So I want to touch on that idea of radical generosity. The main focus of Giving Tuesday for many is to engage givers in a single day of this radical or great generosity. The key is to align this overarching goal of Giving Tuesday with your mission and vision and values. So Giving Tuesday isn't about abandoning your mission and purpose for the greater mission of Giving Tuesday. It's really to align this idea of radical generosity with what you're already doing. Each of the organizations that are represented today in this webinar have a unique way of solving a community problem, or as the organizers of Giving Tuesday would put it, we each have a way of alleviating suffering in our community. And the prime goal is to connect the community and communicate with the community your unique way of solving that problem or alleviating that suffering. And so Giving Tuesday is just a way to highlight that and invite people to give in both a way that's authentic and compelling. So let's talk about some best practices. You know, the best way to do best practices is to pause and prepare. So here's my list of do's and don'ts for a great Giving Tuesday. And you'll notice throughout the presentation today, there are some sources down here. At the end of the presentation, there's also a list of resources to help you. Our goal is to help you resource and prepare for a great Giving Tuesday. So let's check out these do's and don'ts. Do, start planning early. One of the reasons that we're having this conversation in September and not in November is so that you can begin having planning conversations and start getting your plans together for Giving Tuesday early. You know, a plan that starts now is going to be better than a plan that waits to the last minute. Do segment your audiences. You know, you are going to have lots of different constituencies and donors that want to hear from you on Giving Tuesday, but they might want to hear from you in different ways, and they might want to hear different messages. So be intentional about how you communicate to these different audiences on Giving Tuesday. Customize your communication. Customize your communication for each platform. We have many ways that we communicate on Giving Tuesday: email, social media, websites. Customize your communication to make your message clear on each of these platforms. Optimize your donation page. Both optimize it for speed, do testing, make sure that it can handle a large amount of traffic on a particular moment of time, and optimize it for look, feel, and you know, how it can operate on that day. Empower others. None of us do this work alone. So recruit volunteers, recruit parts of your staff. If you are a solo development officer or the leader of a committee, empower others to help you in this goal on Giving Tuesday. And be specific. You know, we all need to be specific with what we're asking for. We need to be specific with what our aim is on Giving Tuesday. Specific asks on Giving Tuesday are more likely to get a response from our donors than general ask. If you ask for just, hey, give us money on Giving Tuesday versus, hey, we're trying to raise $5,000 today, a specific ask will be more impactful than a general one. And test beforehand. Test everything beforehand. Test your communication, test your website, test your giving pages. Make sure it all works and be ready to troubleshoot on Giving Tuesday. Now let's talk about some don'ts. Don't be trendy. Don't try to follow the crowd. Be true to who you are. Be true to who your mission and purpose is. Be authentic. Your donors and your community will know the difference. Again, don't abandon mission and purpose. Your donors will absolutely recognize when you are trying to go after dollars versus your mission. Unfortunately, don't count on the Facebook match. I think last year it was gone within seconds. Cultivate other relationships and maybe even a match in your community that can help you build matching dollars and community relationships. Don't discount the power of social media. Whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, wherever you are on social media, be yourself and express your mission and specific ask for Giving Tuesday authentically. Don't just focus on one-time donations. Giving Tuesday can be an opportunity to re-engage lapsed donors, start recurring gifts, and just highlight the awareness of your mission and purpose over time. Don't forget to follow up. This is an opportunity to start a relationship. Don't look at this as just a one-time opportunity to engage with people. This can be the start of a long-lasting relationship if you do your planning right. Now let's talk about some strategy. Timeline for preparation for Giving Tuesday can look different for each organization, but this is a general layout for what a timeline might look like. We're currently in September, so what could you do in September? In September, you might identify some campaign ambassadors. That empowerment that I was talking about, you might recruit some people to help you with your Giving Tuesday campaign. You might even secure a matching gift from a community partner, board member, foundation, somebody who works with you on your purpose, your mission, or even this special campaign appeal. In October, you would work to determine the theme, the goal, the budget. What are you aiming for? What are you going to spend to communicate that? Then you would create those marketing assets for the Giving Tuesday campaign. November, you would spotlight organizational needs in your communication. You would announce those matching gifts that you've secured. You would segment and plan those appeals, and you would draft a thank you that you would send afterwards. 2 weeks before Giving Tuesday, test everything and post about your upcoming Giving Tuesday campaign to boost excitement. Cyber Monday. Now, we may think this is all about sales, 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 but it's okay to get a head start. You can ask people to share your organization on social media. You can even preview your Giving Tuesday campaign. On Giving Tuesday, you should have an automated email series. You should be set up to immediately thank donors, and you should keep your donors updated on your progress throughout the day. And then after Giving Tuesday, if possible, in addition to that automated thank you, you should call your donors to thank them, and you should communicate the total raised. Now, before I go on, I wanted to check in. Are there any questions?
Right now, we don't have questions. I think people are just taking in all this awesome information. Actually, I did just get a question in from Susanna. It says, can you go into detail on testing? For example, is it web, text? What exactly do we mean by that?
Oh, great question. When I mean testing, lots of your platforms have the ability to do testing. So either A/B testing, so which message works best in your email campaign, or website testing for optimization. So making sure your website won't crash if it gets a lot of traffic on any given moment. So you can work with your different platforms to make sure that everything is going to flow easily on Giving Tuesday.
Great. Thank you so much. We do have one more question that just came in. Can Bloomerang handle automated email series?
Absolutely. We do have, and we're going to go over in just a little bit, we do have some templates in Bloomerang that are built out for Giving Tuesday that you can segment and they can respond to different segments. And so while we can't do trickle series or those kind of things, we can respond to different segmentations. So I hope that's clear.
Great, yeah, and I see that Karen's asking for a little more detail around automated email series, but I think that's something that you're going to be going into. I see that Aaliyah has also responded and she's asking, but is it automated?
Yep, so you can schedule those to go out at a given time. And so those can go out on a certain schedule that you've set up.
Great. All right, well, I think that's our questions for right now, and we're excited to hear more.
Awesome. Now let's get into customization and maximization. So when you customize your online giving forms, you can maximize the donation experience for your donor. So we're going to get into a little bit of your donation pages here and how you can set up your donation page for Giving Tuesday. In your Bloomerang CRM, in your Bloomerang database, you have the ability to customize your web forms, your online giving forms, and customize what your donor will experience when those online giving forms. So when you're in your database, you can click on Settings, which is over on the left-hand side, and then you can click on Website Integrations, and that will take you to the Manage Online Forms part of the settings. Once you get into the website integration part of your settings, you will see an option for online giving forms. In addition, you can see here there are many other options for forms. Today, we're just going to talk about the online giving forms, but if any of these other forms apply, you can see that you can explore those at another moment in time. We have other webinars that can dive deeper into those other forms, but today we're just going to dive into the online giving forms. Once you dive into online giving forms, you can set up a brand new online giving form by selecting New. This is going to take you to the settings that allows you to set up a brand new form from scratch. If you wanted to edit an already created form, you could click on any of these arrows here and there would be an option to edit. But today we're going to create a brand new one from scratch. Once you click that New button, you're going to have a number of options that you can fill in, including customizing the name of the form, selecting a transaction processor, and if you don't have a transaction processor already set up in your database, we have Bloomerang Payments, which is easy and accessible and affordable to use. You can choose your confirmation email that will go out in association with this particular form. And then at the bottom, you can set up donation levels to encourage your donors to give at various levels in response to your Giving Tuesday form. Once you've set up the basic settings of your campaign, of your online giving form, then you can continue with your customization by adding a thank you message on your success page. This page will show after the donors have completed their donation and is just an additional way to thank them for their participation in Giving Tuesday, thank them for their donation, and encourage them to continue to be a part of your organization's mission and purpose. Once you've created your form, you will see a preview of the form that has been created with all the details that you have designed so that you can preview it before you embed it in your website. You will then have the option to copy the HTML code into your website, into the location where you would like the form to appear. You will take this code and put it in the place you want it to appear. And if your page is not secure, you will see the donate button appear instead of the form itself. If your page is secure, the form will show up in its entirety. So secured pages, your form will be embedded. Unsecured pages, the donate button will appear and it will take them to a landing page, or what we call a hosted site, where you will see the form on another page. I'm going to quickly review what that might look like if you have the additional Kindful online fundraising tools. This is an add-on that you might have in your Bloomerang database. It just allows you to customize online forms additionally with some additional customization. Some of our clients opt for this option because it allows them to have more customization of their visuals and allows for more visually appealing campaign and online giving forms. So when you're in your database, if you have this add-on, you can see that you will have the Kindful icon here. You can get into the settings and create a campaign. A campaign is what Kindful calls an online giving form. You can design this form, this campaign with the settings. You can customize branding colors, background images, show a goal thermometer. It allows for a successful redirect link, and there are lots of other options here available in Kindful fundraising tools. You will have a direct link that will allow you to put a hyperlink in your website and direct people to this campaign page. And so this is another option that you have to customize campaign and online forms. Now we're going to get into the database. Any questions while I pull up the database?
No, not right now. We're just waiting to hear more.
Amazing. All right. So you can see that I'm in my Bloomerang database now. And we're going to walk through that same process that I showed you just a minute ago of customizing your online forms. So again, we're going to go to settings. And we're going to go to website integrations. We're going to see that online giving form here. And you can obviously see that I've been playing with Giving Tuesday online giving forms. We'll just create a brand new one from scratch just to show you the whole experience. And we'll just say Giving Tuesday Academy just for you. You can see that you can select your processor here. And then you can select your confirmation email here. These are customizable in your email tools. So if you wanted to create a custom email confirmation that goes out automatically when somebody gives to this online form, then you absolutely could, and we can talk about that in just a moment. Assigning your online form to a fund, campaign, or appeal is easy here. And if you want an appeal to be created for Giving Tuesday, you would need to create that appeal before creating this form, so it would show up here for your selection. You have lots of choices here for recurring donations, allowing electronic fund transfers, allowing donor offset fees, which I highly recommend, particularly on a day where people are feeling very generous. Adding donation levels here, Giving Tuesday Superstar. and so on. You can add as many donation levels as you feel is appropriate on Giving Tuesday. I recommend 3 to 5 just to not overwhelm your donor with too many choices. And they will always have that option to fill in the blank with any other donation amount that they feel appropriate. Custom fields here. If you have any constituent fields or transaction fields that are custom to your database and you would like to connect it to this online form, you absolutely can connect them here and allow the donor to fill that out while they're making their gift. We have the success page. We can customize this for Giving Tuesday. And if you want them to be able to share or follow you on social media in the midst of giving this, you absolutely could. Right now, we're going to take this away because I don't have any of that filled in. On the next page, we're going to get a preview of our form. There are donation amounts. There's your option to fill in any donation amount that you want. So if you're feeling super generous and want to give $1 million on Giving Tuesday, you absolutely would have that option too. There's that custom field if you had those built out. And yet here is the option to offset those bank fees. On the next page, you get your code that you would input into your website, and there are instructions to do this if you get stuck. And again, if your page is not secure or has CAPTCHA enabled, the donate button would appear, not donut, maybe I'm hungry this morning, would appear and allow you to still have that enabled, but have a secure, always a secure checkout. Now let's look at the version on Kindful. When we go to Kindful, on our Kindful, ooh, it's not working this morning. Well, we'll have to put a pin in that for today. But it works just as I showed you in the slides. You would get in there and be able to customize that campaign with all of the ability to customize that campaign, add a picture, customize the colors, and be able to have a direct link that you could add to your email or anything like that. I want to pause right there. Are there any questions about customizing your online forms?
We did have a request for you to try that again for the Kindful fundraising.
Yeah.
They're anxious to see that. So we're all going to cross our fingers. I used to teach first.
Hey,
you just needed to try one more time.
third time's the charm.
There you go.
Fantastic. You guys must be my good luck charm. All right, let's look at this. Okay, so we're going to go to campaigns. This is where you would create what Kindful calls a campaign. And so we would create a new campaign. You would give it a name, very similar to what we would do on the Bloomerang side, Giving Tuesday 2022. This default fund is not as important inside of Kindful at this time because down here in just a moment, we're going to map it to the Bloomerang side. So this is the most important part. So we can leave it as default general because this is inside the Kindful tools. What's most important is mapping it back over into your Bloomerang CRM for reporting and filtering and communication. So we're going to give this a title here, Giving Tuesday 2022. Any description that you want here. Default transaction amounts here. If you wanted there to be any difference to your default transaction amounts besides 50, 100, 250, or 500, you absolutely could do that here. And again, you're always going to have that option to fill in the blank with other things. Custom checkout text is just a neat pop-up at the end of that successful transaction that allows the donor to know that they've been successful and receive a quick thank you from you. Successful donation redirect URL is just as it sounds. You can have them land on a video or a website or something that you would like them to be redirected after they've completed this checkout process. If you would like to make this recurring only, you have the option to disable one-time payments. And here we go. We can map it back to Bloomerang so you can have all the records up to date and mapped correctly here. So when they map back over into Bloomerang, we can filter appropriately and find these transactions as we need. One of my favorite features is showing the goal amount. So you can add a goal thermometer here. So whatever your goal is, I'm being extra I'm going for the gold with our goal on Giving Tuesday here. You can add images here, both big images across the whole background of your campaign pages or images just to the side of your information. You can customize that donate button. So if you wanted to say go Giving Tuesday or something like that, you absolutely could. You can customize your color. So if you have branding colors of any kind, you can put those codes in here. And then with Kindful, you have the ability to add 3 custom questions or fields and even map back to those constituent fields as you do in Bloomerang. So we're going to create this campaign here. You can see Giving Tuesday has shown up here. When we go back into Giving Tuesday, we see that direct link. That direct link would be the item that you would share on your social media campaign, in your email, those kind of things. And then you would have the ability, I clicked the wrong one. Let's show that goal amount. Something's up with Kindful today. It's not doing what it's supposed to, but normally it would show that goal amount here. It would do all of those kinds of things. So absolutely. Any questions about that?
Micah, we did have a question earlier that I kind of wanted to jump back to.
Absolutely.
I'm going to find the question because I want to ask it in the way it was asked. So they were asking, how do you create an appeal? And then is it necessary to create an appeal? Why would you want to create an appeal?
Sure. So just quickly, in your settings here, in your transactions here, you can see that you manage funds, campaigns, appeals, all tributes, all of those kind of things. So click edit here and you get a pop out to the side. Now with appeals, this is really nice when you create appeals to track different solicitations, or I like to call them different doors that donors walk through to give your organization money. So we have overarching campaigns like your annual campaign or those kind of things, but they might walk through the Giving Tuesday door to give money to your annual campaign. So an appeal is a really nice way to track which door someone walked through to give money to a particular campaign, if that makes sense. So when we click on appeal, you can see here that we have lots of things. So you might send a letter at certain points in the year, so that would also be considered an appeal. You might have different initiatives that you have throughout the year that might be an appeal, but they all might roll up into your general campaign or that kind of thing. So it's just nice to know how people are responding to different solicitations and those kind of things. So that's why we track appeals. So settings, appeals, and very similar to creating a new donation page, you would click new and then give it a name, Giving Tuesday or end of year letter, since we already have a Giving Tuesday. And then they would populate here for your use. All right. We're going to move on to acknowledgements for Giving Tuesday. So best practices for thanking donors. There are definitely some things that you do and don't want to do when thanking donors. You want to make sure that you're prompt, sincere, and accurate. You want to make sure that you do it in a timely manner. All of the fundraising statistics tell us that if you do it within 24 to 48 hours, that donor is likely to stay engaged with your organization. You definitely want to be sincere. The less use of a template and more personal voice you can use, the better. And you definitely want to make sure that the information is accurate. We all know how it feels when our name is misspelled or our personal information is wrong. It definitely makes us feel like we're not seen or not appreciated. So we want to make sure that that information is accurate. You want to personalize it. Again, going back to that, making it sincere, but also making it personal. This is a donor that has taken the time to give your organization money. So we want to make sure that not only is the information in your database correct, but we're also making the thank you personal. So whether that is a signature, if it's an email, making sure that you update those regularly so those sound fresh and new and in your voice, making it in a way that you're addressing the donor personally, that it sounds like your voice, you're talking about the donor, personalize it and make it connective and a part of the relationship building process. Again, be warm, personal, and conversational. Nobody likes to get one of those form letters that sounds like a robot wrote it. So make sure it sounds like a human and sounds like you as a human. Give the donor credit and remove yourself as the middleman. What I mean by that is the sentence shouldn't say, when you gave us this gift, we did this thing. It should say, you, the donor, made this amazing thing happen. You don't need to be the middleman of the action. You can give full credit to the donor for facilitating the amazing thing that your organization was able to do. And also tell them how kind and compassionate they are. Tell them how generous they are. It's okay to spoil them and dote on them. They took the time to make the donation. Tell them how amazing they are and how appreciative you are of the donation that they made and the time they took to make it. Make sure you're writing at a 6th grade reading level so that everybody can comprehend what you're sending, and use twice as many yous as you talk about yourself as an organization. You are amazing. We appreciate you. You rock. Anything like that. Make sure you are talking about you, the donor. Make it engaging by starting in the middle of the action. So addressing the action that is taking place in your organization, using photos, unexpected narrators like children, or sharing a quick story from a person that you have helped. Anything that you can do to keep the donor engaged, make it interesting, make it fresh. And please do not use the same copy month after month. Get in a routine of updating these acknowledgements and thank yous regularly. I know some of us are one-person shops, so if it's not monthly, make it quarterly, but please make it a practice of updating these regularly. And of course, the basics. Please include your tax ID number, their gift amount, and the date so that these thank yous can serve as their tax receipt. And leverage the PS. Now, I have a cool story about the PS. When I was a development officer, I didn't know about the PS at the first organization that I worked at. It wasn't until the second organization that I worked at that somebody was like, why aren't you using a PS on your letters, on your thank you letters? And I was like, PS? I didn't use a P. I only used PS when I wrote notes to my friends in elementary school. But they were like, no, it's a strategy that works. And so I started using it, and it really does. And I started using a PS to say, hey, PS, don't forget about our fall event. Hey, PS, don't forget, to remember us in your estate planning. You can just include that PS. People are more likely to read the first couple of sentences and the last. And that PS is really going to highlight something that you want them to remember. So don't forget the PS. I promise it will work. Now, when we're talking about emails and connecting them to the campaign, you can create the emails in our email creator and using our email templates. And we even have some Giving Tuesday templates already pre-built for you. So you can click on emails in your Bloomerang Bloomerang dashboard. You can click on new. And when you click on new, you're going to get an option to see the Giving Tuesday templates. We have lots of starter designs included in your database. Some of them are solicitations that will go out that you can plan in advance to segmented audiences. And we also have one that can be an automated thank you to anybody who gives on Giving Tuesday. So let's get back into the database and check out how to set this up. So we're going to go to emails here. We're going to click right over here on new. When I click on new, you'll notice that Giving Tuesday template is one of the options. And you get all of the choices here for Giving Tuesday. Save the date, boards, volunteers, give today, join our monthly giving program, and post Giving Tuesday thank you. Now, you'll notice that this has a lot of information in it that you will want to customize for your organization. Right now, it's got Giving Tuesday 2021 in it. Obviously, you'll probably want to update that for Giving Tuesday 2022. You'll want to add your organization's name and any, obviously, customized information for your particular Giving Tuesday campaign. One of the things we also want to change is the filter type. We want to click on this and we want to change to transaction. This will allow this template to be connected to your online giving form, so it can respond to all of those transactions. So we want to customize this. We want to create this. We can add in here with our tags, thank you for your gift of insert merge field. Latest transaction amount, latest transaction date, etc. So you can do all of these. Once we save it, we can preview it. It will remind us to give it a name, Giving Tuesday, thank you. Purpose is acknowledgement. That will allow it to flip that acknowledgement flag for those who have given. Thank you for your gift on Giving Tuesday from us. and we save it. Oh, let's make sure we click those. Now that we have that saved, we can go back to that online giving form that we've created, go back to the website integration, go back to online giving forms, go back to that Giving Tuesday Academy, create an edit. This confirmation email here, and we can select that Giving Tuesday thank you that we've just created. That means that those people who give through this form will receive that email that we've just created with the Giving Tuesday logo and the Giving Tuesday information and the Giving Tuesday thank you that's customized just for this purpose. So that's how you customize that in Bloomerang. Any questions before we go on?
Actually, Micah, we do have a couple of really good questions here.
Sure.
The first one's from Renee. She wants to know, do automated email notes work better than handwritten notes? And if not, should we be thinking about doing handwritten notes as well?
That's a really great question. I think it's up to your organization and how much people power they have. You know, lots of organizations, depending on how many people they have to support the response to donors, really can decide what that is. The most important thing, regardless of if it's an email or a handwritten thank you, is time. And so we want to make sure that we are responding to donors in a timely fashion and making it sound like your organization. So even if it's an email thank you, making that the language of the email personalized and updated regularly is going to go a long way. So if you have the people power, you might consider segmenting off, maybe large donors, maybe recurring donors, maybe loyal donors. But the most important thing to consider is promptness in those thank yous.
Yeah, great point, Micah. So it's kind of a balancing act between the two, right? The personalization,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, and I do know that at an organization I used to work with, we would have the whole staff do thank you notes for one afternoon, and just turned it into kind of a party, and that was kind of fun too. So I do have another question from Scott. Where do we insert our logos into the acknowledgement?
That's a great question. So we'll go back to this Giving Tuesday thank you. And we'll edit here. So I was just showing you a template, but these are all really customizable. You can see over here on the side, Scott, that you have the ability to add images in your content, and you can drag and drop an image here. So if you wanted to either replace this Giving Tuesday banner or add that logo here, you absolutely could in your email template. Do we have any other questions, Margie?
I think we're ready to move on. We're going to take some on the back end here so that you can keep moving.
Okay. I do want to touch base on the fact that Giving Tuesday isn't everything. I feel like as a nonprofit community that sometimes we get really stressed out about Giving Tuesday. And there's a lot of voices and a lot of noise around Giving Tuesday. And sometimes I want to pause and remind us that yes, Giving Tuesday is a great initiative. It is a great day. It's really exciting, but it's not the end all be all of our fundraising lives and our fundraising strategy. So one day is not everything. This figure here on the screen just shows the percentage of December giving, just average day by day as we go towards the end of the year. And you may experience this in your own organization, that Giving Tuesday really is kind of the kickoff to the end of year giving, and it kind of accelerates as we go towards the end of the year. So it's really important that it has caused a peak in one day, but for some organizations, that peak is not as tall as others. And for some, Giving Tuesday isn't even a big deal. So I don't want us to wrap up all of our hopes and dreams for fundraising into Giving Tuesday. So while there are Facebook matching dollars, it's gone in seconds. And so we need to think bigger strategy and community connection when it talks about Giving Tuesday. We also need to know that Giving Tuesday may not be your biggest giving day. If you do annual campaigns or other campaigns throughout the year, you may have another day that is bigger. And so looking towards larger strategies and consistent giving streams over the course of the year may be more important than just a single day of giving. And December as a whole will likely be a greater opportunity than Giving Tuesday. So just remember that yes, Giving Tuesday is a part of your strategy, but it is not the end all. When you're thinking about strategy and we're thinking about Giving Tuesday as a part of this strategy, I think there are some things that we need to step back and analyze, because in some organizations, we have invested a lot of time, money, and resources into Giving Tuesday. And so we might need to do some evaluation of how we address this. So we need to consider, are our year-end fundraising goals impacted? Are people just switching their dollars from year-end giving to Giving Tuesday? Is this really a gain, or is this just a switch in timing? Are your Giving Tuesday donors retained at a different rate than other donors? Are these people just giving one time and then you're never seeing them again? Is that a factor? Are you putting a lot of effort into donors that you will never see again? Do Giving Tuesday donors upgrade at the same velocity or frequency than other donors in other campaigns? Now, this is a big one because we put a lot of time and resources into campaigns like this. Did the hours you spent preparing and executing the Giving Tuesday campaign yield as much as those on other types of campaigns? And sometimes we're not very good, and I'm speaking from my own experience, we're not good trackers when it comes to ROI on hours as much as we are on money. And so that can factor in administrative support, volunteer time. And so just being cognizant of the hours that we are spending preparing for Giving Tuesday versus other campaigns or maybe even events. And do survey results from Giving Tuesday donors yield the same allegiance or engagement to your organization? Are these donors engaging with you all year round? Again, it goes back to the retention. Dollars are great, but retention is better over time. And so a retained donor, as we all know, is more valuable to an organization. So just things to consider as you're planning and strategizing for Giving Tuesday as a part of your fundraising strategy. So any questions about anything we've covered today?
Actually, I do have one more that we haven't really covered yet. And it was just actually more of a asking for an example. So
Sure.
Someone said they would love to have a real life example of someone using Kindful. If you had any great examples of someone successfully using Kindful as part of their fundraising campaign.
Giving Tuesday specific or just Kindful in general?
Well, if you have one of each, we'll take one of each, but I will leave that to your discretion, Micah.
Yeah, we have lots of organizations that utilize Kindful fundraising tools for all kinds of initiatives and campaigns. And so, I have organizations that run capital campaigns and general appeals, as well as very specific campaigns and appeals. I have one organization that is raising funds for different initiatives throughout the world. And so they have campaigns for their Asia initiative and their Africa initiative and their different initiatives that they're doing. And they have a campaign page for each of those initiatives using Kindful. And they're able to show a picture in the background using the visual customization in Kindful of each of those places and customize that to kind of really show a visual impact. So that's kind of the Kindful side of it. As far as Giving Tuesday goes, I really like the direct link feature, and I have lots of organizations that I coach on a regular basis that are gearing up as we speak, and they're customizing those visual pages to kind of just show an overall impact of their organization with those pages and do that. I don't have a live example I can show you, but the visual images are really the kind of key piece of those Kindful campaign pages, being able to show pictures in addition to just having the checkout options on those donation pages.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. And I see Alyssa would love to have some links to those Kindful. Yeah. She said that sounds really great. So thank you for sharing those. We really, really appreciate that. Are there any other questions? I know we're at time, so. All right. Well, seeing none, I'm going to continue on and let me grab the screen again. And I want to point out that we have some wonderful resources. These will be in the slide deck that we're going to be sharing with you later this afternoon. These will really help you with your Giving Tuesday strategies and online giving overall. It also has information. I know some of you are asking about things like scheduling emails, those types of things. You can always get that kind of information from our knowledge base, but we give you some that might be interesting to you. Now, also, some of you were asking about some other types of education, and you might be interested in some of the classes coming up because some of them will relate to what you were asking us about. So these are the classes. Again, this slide will be sent out to you. I'm not going to read them all off, but please do keep an eye out for the registration links via email and our in-app messaging. Again, don't forget, you can click on that little question mark when you are in your database and find all kinds of helpful videos and support. You can even submit a ticket if you need some sort of customer support after utilizing that resource. So we want to thank you all for being here today, for being a part of our webinar, and we hope that you all have an amazing day. Thank you. And again, thank you, Micah, for all of your wonderful knowledge.